Hello and welcome to Body, Mind, and Spirit here at First Presbyterian Church in Ann Arbor, Michigan. My name is Rob Meyer-Kukan and I am blessed to be your host on this journey. This series of experiences will be like a mini retreat or a workshop to allow you the opportunity to center yourself through gentle activities, focused meditation on poetry and scripture, and the soothing sounds of therapeutic bowls and other instruments. Our time together will include some guided meditation, breath work, mindful movement, and sound therapy. Our hope is that through providing this opportunity, you'll have a chance to explore new ways of connecting your spirituality into your daily life. By utilizing these tools, you will have a whole new set of experiences that you can bring your faith life into your everyday life. This month, we're going to do a method of breath work called alternate nostril breathing. We will include some mindful movement, including gentle stretches, most of which can be done from a seated position. And then, of course, we will include a time of immersion in sound with gongs and singing bowls, all to practice this experience of mindfulness. Remember, as I said last month, that mindfulness is described as the human quality of being present and fully engaged with whatever we're doing in the moment. The goal is to be free from distraction or judgment, yet aware of our thoughts and our feelings without getting caught up in them. As we have transitioned into the season of autumn, this is the perfect time, as I'm doing, and probably many of you are doing as well, a lot of work in our yard. This is different work than we've been doing the past several months of trimming and maintaining, but rather now it is a time for cutting back. It is a time for preparing for the next season. And as I trim back my garden and as I trim back the vegetable plants and the flowers that have brought us so much joy and such amazing food and nourishment, I have to admit that I'm a little bit sad. I also am experiencing this amazing phenomenon that without these plants and things around the yard, there's more space. And so that got me to thinking about pruning. It got me to thinking about the practices that I do. And as I was reading about pruning one specific plant in our yard, I was reminded that it is through this pruning that the plants are strengthened in their root system. Take a moment to think about that today. We are here to strengthen and to put down deep roots that will allow us to have strength so that when the coming season comes, we may endure. This congregation is taking a faith journey through the book of Exodus. Much like the people in Exodus were wandering in the wilderness, we too are in a unique time in our collective human history that seems like we are wandering in the wilderness. But one of the most beautiful themes that we see all throughout Scripture and reminded to us in the book of Exodus is this theme of the covenant that God has with us. We will hear about that covenant, about that promise that God has for us during our sound bath meditation in this experience. So I encourage you to stay tuned and to fully participate in that. May the peace that comes from knowing that even as we wander, even as we journey, God is with us, be with you now and always. This month, for our breathing technique or for our breathwork practice, we're going to do a unique practice called alternate nostril breathing, or Nadi Shodhana. As part of this technique, this helps to connect the right and left side of our brains. It helps to balance our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. And as with all breath work, deep breathing is one of the body's strongest self-healing tools. It helps to also lower our blood pressure, reduce those stress hormones that are so active in our bodies right now, and it exercises our lungs. This unique practice helps to calm and center your mind. It brings to mind the present moment, which is one of our goals with mindfulness and mindfulness practices, allowing us to be free to release old fears, regret, anger, and worry. It's therapeutic for our circulatory and respiratory systems, and it is stress relieving and relaxing to the body and mind. As I said, because we're focusing on one side or the other, it helps to harmonize the right and left hemispheres of the brain. It helps and purifies our energy centers. It helps to maintain our body temperature. And because it's something that is not a practice that we are used to doing all of the time, it adds a little bit of fun into our breathwork practice. It doesn't have to always be so serious. It may even feel a little bit silly, but there is a lot of benefit to doing it. I know that particularly during this time of pandemic and public health crisis, we're being very careful to be sanitary in all of the things that we do, and we're trying to avoid touching our face. So this practice might seem a little odd to choose right now, but we're going to start by either washing our hands or using some sanitizer. Once your hands have been sanitized and are clean, then you're going to take your right hand. You're going to bend your index and your middle finger so that they're curling. And you'll notice, because of our body's amazing anatomy, that this ring finger starts to curl with it. We won't get into a full anatomy lesson on that, but it's just a natural thing. Allow that natural curve to happen. The process here is going to follow then by taking your thumb to simply cover your right nostril. And you're going to breathe in and out of your left nostril alone for a little while. And then you're going to simply switch. You're going to allow this ring finger to then block your left nostril. Some people, when demonstrating this technique, have shown to kind of push up and block the nostril. I think that for me, it's way more comfortable to just sort of push on the fleshy side where there's this wonderful divot or indentation in the side of our nose. If because of the work that you do, if because of your chronological position in life, your hands are a little bit sore or don't move the way that they used to, feel free to adjust the hand position, or what we call the hand mudra, so that it is comfortable for you. So you may choose to use your thumb and your index finger, your thumb and your pinky, but do what's comfortable for you. And remember to keep your hand and your body relaxed during this process. So let's go through a couple of rounds of this alternate nostril breathing technique. We're going to start by finding ourselves in a comfortable seated position. Allow your back to be tall and erect without being tight. Allow your shoulders to relax and your head to gently rest on the top of your spine. We're going to start by taking a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth to signal to our body that we're going to do something a little bit different. Take your right hand, curl your index and your middle finger, and gently press your thumb over your right nostril. Breathe in through your left nostril And then cover your left nostril, release your right nostril, breathe out and back in. And then cover your right nostril, release your left nostril, breathe out and back in. Cover your left nostril, release your right nostril, breathe out and in. And continue in this pattern, back and forth, breathing out through your left nostril and in, covering that nostril, allowing your right nostril to breathe freely out and in. And allowing yourself to get into the rhythm remembering on each side it's out, then in. Cover that nostril, release the other side, out and in. Let's do a few more rounds in your own time. Alternating between sides, out and in, out, in, and whichever side you're on, let's do one more rotation. Out and in, out and in. Release the nostril that you've got covered and allow yourself to just breathe naturally. Maybe you notice that your breathing that you once considered normal has slowed down a little bit. Perhaps it's a little bit deeper or more intentional. That's a good thing. With any type of breathwork practice, if at any point you get uncomfortable or lightheaded or it doesn't feel right, allow yourself to settle into that natural breathing practice that you have, that natural breathing pattern. Take a break from it for a moment. If this is new to you, start slow and start low with a few minutes of this practice and gradually build up. Remember that the breathing pattern with this specific practice of alternate nostril breathing is out, then in on the one side, then reverse sides, out, then in. Don't force the breath. Allow it to be gentle. Allow it to be smooth. Remember that your breathing apparatus is controlled by the diaphragm muscle that lowers and raises and creates this beautiful vacuum inside of your lungs. So just allow that vacuum to expand and fill and collapse and release and fill up again. And then also remember that when you're doing this, your fingers are going to just be gently resting on your nose to cover the nostrils. We don't want to have any type of pressure in our hands, our wrists, in our shoulders, or in our nose, or in our face. I hope that this new method or practice of breathing is a blessing to you. For the next portion of our time together, we're going to spend some time doing some stretching or some mindful movement. In the other areas of my work, I work as a massage therapist and as a piano instructor. In both of those areas, I'm noticing that because of the pandemic and because of the way that our work and school has changed, we're spending a lot more time seated. We're spending a lot more time sitting at home. We're spending a lot more time doing our jobs in ways that are different. Now, different may seem scary. It may seem bad or wrong, but we are doing the best that we can, aren't we? However, that creates some unique challenges for our bodies. We're just simply not moving as much as we have been, or had been. We aren't getting up to go greet the client or the patient, or walk with the students in the hallway if we're involved in education. We're not getting up and going to the copy machine as much. We're doing everything from one position, which provides a lot of opportunity for muscles in our bodies to become very sedentary and very tight. So I want to teach you, or at least go through, a set of exercises, of stretches, of movements that you can do from a simple seated position, that you can do while you're on a Zoom call or in your Google Classroom, that you can do when you're a passenger in the car, if you're going from one place to the next. These are simple and easy things that you can incorporate. You can pick and choose one area of the body to work on, or you can incorporate the full set of the stretches and exercises and movements that I'm demonstrating today. We're going to start at our feet with our ankles. If we're sitting in a chair, a lot of times our ankles just sort of hang out. So one of the things we can do to put some gentle movement is just simply to make circles with our feet. That way we're engaging all of the muscles of the lower leg. It's important that as we're doing these, we do both sides, just as we did in our alternate nostril breathing technique. So simple circles. This can be done without having to interrupt your meeting or your call, or it can be done as an intentional time between things. The other thing you can do is a technique that I learned when I was in physical therapy for a sprained ankle many years ago, and it's something that I still do, and that is simply to use your foot to write the letters of the alphabet. And it feels a little bit wonky or goofy at first, but just by doing those intentional movements, my physical therapist gave me an exercise or an activity that I could do that was really helpful for everyday life. Now, a lot of the other stretches and things that we're going to do can be done from a seated position, if that's more comfortable for you, or if you're trying to do this as you're working or in between things. But for the next couple of things, I'd like to do a couple of things standing, but they're nothing that can't be done without the aid or assistance of a chair if you'd like some additional support. So simply by holding on to the back of the chair to give you some extra balancing, I'd like to focus on our calf muscles, the muscles in the back of our lower leg. And the most simple activity is going to be the thing that we're doing next. Simply holding on to the back of the chair or a counter or your desk, and then coming up on your tiptoes, just to activate those calf muscles. And you can go slow or more fast if you'd like. If you want to get a deeper engagement of the muscles, bend at the knees. You don't have to come to a full sort of squat like you're trying to sit like against a wall type of activity, but just a little gentle bending at the knees, relaxed in the shoulders. Go ahead, use something for support. Come up on your toes and down. Up and down. Again, just some gentle movement to engage these backs of our legs. Then let's focus on the upper part of our lower limb, simply by bringing your heel to the back side. Do this on both sides. If this isn't as comfortable for you, use the chair to simply come and sort of kneel and add a little bit of a lunge. And you can do that on both sides. Then, the next one, again, good to have something to support you, is just a simple lunge. So coming into your feet sort of parallel, but one in front of the other, go ahead, use the back of the chair, again, or a table or a counter or a desk to help balance, and simply lean forward. Allow yourself to switch which foot or which leg is in front and lean forward. And you'll notice I'm paying attention to have both feet parallel facing forward. So the feet are parallel to one another and facing forward. Okay, so that brings us back to our torso. So what I like to do for the torso is to really engage the muscles and the mechanisms that are on the side of our body. And the best way to do this is to mimic the beautiful trees by simply bringing your arms above our head and pretend like a fall breeze is coming through, and just allow yourself to sway side to side. You can even take it forward to one side, back to one side. But again, allowing yourself to engage all of the muscles along the side, the core in your abdomen, engaging all of that. Then, our shoulders, particularly as the months grow colder. We are going to be putting on extra layers and bundling up, aren't we? And look at where our shoulders have ended up, really close to our ears. So in order to remind them of where they belong, we're going to simply make circles with our shoulders, or shoulder circles. Allow the shoulder blades to come forward and slide back down the rib cage, just making big circles. If you feel like you're not fully engaging the whole shoulder apparatus, you can allow your arms to float away from your body, allow your elbows to come out, and pretend like you're drawing circles with your elbows. So this part is going to draw a big circle. Pretend like you're trying to reach the wall that is out that direction or out that direction, and draw big circles. So rather than getting tiny shoulder movements, now we're getting full circles. Excellent. Then, our necks. A lot of us are using our devices more. We're checking our phones, we're texting, we're looking at computers or TV monitors. Look at where my head has ended up. So we want to work on the muscles, both in the front and the back, that are keeping our head where it belongs. The best way to work on these muscles is simply to bring your ear to your shoulder. Notice the specific order I gave you those directions. Your ear comes to your shoulder rather than your shoulder coming to your ear. Allow that ear to reach down to the shoulder and then come back to the other side. A nice, even stretch. If you want to give it a little extra assistance, take your two fingers and put them on either side of your ears or ear, and simply allow the weight of your hand to put a little extra stretch here. Notice that we're not actively pulling the head. We don't want to hyperextend, but rather we're allowing ourselves to just get a little gentle extra stretch by enjoying the weight of our hand on the side of our head and the top of our head. You can make all sorts of modifications to this to include these front muscles by bringing your head sort of back and at an angle. Again, same way here. Even bringing your chin to your chest, rolling from side to side. All very good things. Then, last but not least, and again, if we're going to work with our face, we want to make sure that our hands are clean, either with some hand sanitizer or we've just washed our hands. But it's always nice to give ourselves a little bit of a jaw massage. Notice that when I'm coming up, I'm putting pressure, but when my circles on the side of my jaw is coming down, I'm releasing the pressure. We don't want to do anything that's going to pull these muscles down. So again, we're coming up with some pressure, relaxing, coming down, and just giving ourselves a little jaw massage to help to release those muscles that maybe sometimes get a little bit tight and clenched. A few tips when it comes to stretching. Number 1, stretch only as far as the muscle will go. Don't force it. I know that a lot of us in our middle school and grade school PE classes would sort of bounce into stretches or would kind of push the stretch. But we've learned that that's not necessarily the best for our bodies. Allow yourself to come to the point where it naturally feels the stretch has gone as far as it's going to go. Hold that for 5 to 15 seconds, depending on your comfort level, and then see if you can stretch a little bit more. Your body's natural stretch reflex will settle into the stretch, and more than likely, you'll be able to get a little bit more of a stretch by allowing yourself to settle in and then go a little bit further after a while. Number 2, if it hurts, stop, adjust, or find another way to stretch or work that area. And then number 3, always, always, always make sure to stay hydrated. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water so that the muscles, the joints, the ligaments, the tendons, all of the amazing parts of your body that move can stay lubricated so that they can stay energized and fueled, and that your body stays hydrated. So there you have it, a whole kit of stretches that you can pick 1 or 2 or do the whole set while you're sitting in a meeting, between meetings, between clients, while working from home, even in the office. For the final portion of our time together today, we're going to enjoy a sound bath meditation. During that time, I invite you to focus your mind on this concept of this verse from Exodus 15. In your loving kindness, you have led the people whom you have redeemed. In your strength, you have guided them to your holy habitation. It is my goal that during this time of sound bath meditation, that you will join me in seeking for peace. We're asking for peace. We are praying for peace. Peace for the church, peace among nations, peace in our homes, and peace in our hearts. In Exodus 14, we hear, "The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace." Here, Moses is reminding the Israelites and us today that God is fighting for us, so we can be at peace. One of the most searched for versions of this verse, I'm told, sounds like this from the New International Version. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. And of course, other words for this could be calm, silent, quiet. Whichever translation you choose, it points to the fact that we need not be afraid, that God is in control. So as we take these next few moments, I invite you to find a comfortable position, either seated or reclining, perhaps with a prop, a bolster, or a pillow or a cushion to keep you more comfortable. Maybe an eye pillow to allow yourself to fully escape and to settle into the moment. We begin by taking a nice deep breath in through our nose, out through our mouth, in through our nose, out through our mouth, in through your nose, and out through your mouth. Continue in the unguided breath. If you've not already done so, allow your gaze to soften, your eyes to close if you feel comfortable, and allow yourself to settle in and relax. As the sound of the bowls begins to fade, I invite you to draw your attention back into your body. Put a little bit of movement into your body, wiggle your fingers and toes. Begin to sense the chair or the couch or the bed supporting you, the room around you. Before you open your eyes, I invite you to hear these words from Psalm 46. Be still and know that I am God. Today I leave you with the thought that God is fighting for us, and the confidence that in this knowledge we can rest, we can be still, and we can know true peace. Many blessings to you. I look forward to seeing you in future sessions.